Hi, we've all seen these super sweet flocked bunnies around, and today I thought I would make using a simple foam base. I am going to create a wreath with this size bunny. This is on the website mychristmas.com.au, the medium size bunny, and then they come in extra large, which barely fits in there. It's close to 70 centimeters tall, and then these super sweet small size. But for today I'm going to use this size bunny, a florist foam frame, and I'm going to use this loopy wool to create the base. Very simple and hopefully quite effective wreath. Let's have some fun. Okay, so I've chosen a wreath frame that's 50 centimeters diameter. The reason for this is I wanted to be able to sit my bunny because I'm going to use some actually bamboo sticks to just hold him in place. So that was sort of the perfect size to be able to sit him and frame him in there. I don't have any florist wire at home, so sometimes I like to sort of, work with what I've got. I bought these, way too many, moss picks, because I may do something with moss also for Easter, and I thought I'm going to use them because I'm actually going to add some little eggs at the end. And because this wreath, I think being a white base, it could be used for Christmas as well. So everything can come off it. You can keep the base with the wool on it made up, and then you can redecorate it for for Christmas, Halloween, for Valentine's Day, as you wish. So I'm going to actually use pins to put everything in place so that I don't risk having to glue it in and have it for one use only. All right, so we're going to actually start with just one of those. Okay, so I bought a number of rolls of this wool. I had no idea how much I would need. I did see this on another website using the loopy wool as a base for Christmas. I will try and find that so I can link it for you, and you can see what they did with some, I think they used trees, but it was really sweet, and definitely something that inspired me to give this a go. We're going to simply be wrapping this all the way around our foam. And to start with, I'm going to use the pin here, put it through one of the loops and pin that in at the back of the frame. Quite long pin, so I'm just putting it on an angle. And I think it's going to look better if I try and run the loops sort of all in one direction so they don't get flattened by the next layer as much as possible, and then you can sort of position them as you want. So just going to wrap it around and around and around. And I'm just loosely going around first, as you can see, a number of times, and then I'll position it in to make sure everything's sitting the way I want it to, and push the wool in nice and close.
I wanna dream your dreams, lick the moons, catch them stars in the night. Every superpower that is yours will be mine.
Okay, so as we are now at the end, let's run that all the way through. You really want this to be at the end, so I'm going to cut that off so that I can attach it at the back rather than the front. And then once again, pulling one of my loops nice and tight, I'm going to use my moss clip pin to push into the foam. And I'm also just going to put another one sort of halfway just to keep everything well positioned. And then we're going to use the next roll of wool and keep working our way all the way around. So I'm going to attach my loop again. attach right into the foam, and we are going to just keep wrapping. Okay, I found a bit of a dirt mark at the end of this, so I'm actually going to cut this a bit shorter to avoid that. So again, cutting it so I can work the back loop in. Just before I attach. So there's another second roll attached. Looks like we're going to need 3. When we get to the end here, all I'm trying to do as I put this down is not flatten down the loops that are already in place. So I can just layer that in between. And again, we're going to cut the back off to attach that with our final pin. Okay, so there's our base. So easy, really super sweet, soft, and definitely I can see this being used again for Christmas, as I mentioned. All right, so what I want to do with this bunny, it's a foam base, which is great. So I should be able to use, if I had a heavy duty wire at home, I would use that, but I've got these bamboo sticks, so I thought I'd give them a whirl. The wire would probably be a little bit smaller in the bunny, so if you wanted to use it for something else, you're less likely to have sort of any obvious holes in it. Having said that, it's going to be at the back and underneath, so it's not a big problem, but something to consider. And I want to use the skewered end, the sharper end, to put into the bunny, again to reduce the chance of making any sort of mess, damaging it. And then I'm going to use the other end just to go into the foam. And my thought is, doesn't matter where they're all, because it's exactly the same all the way around, I simply need to attach the bunny with the 2 ears attached at the top, and then a skewer in the bottom here. So let's first of all take his tag off. As I said, these are on the website mychristmas.com.au. If you're overseas, I'm sure you'll find different varieties all over the place. They're so popular. And I am going to, in fact, don't need this as long. And it's at the back that it's going to attach, so I'm going to just put that in there. And while I'm at it, let's get the back of the ears as well. They need to be shorter again, because the ears aren't very deep. Just using a heavy duty cutter to cut these. I use it for all my wire cutting as well. And work out where it needs to go. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm leading the skewer into the base, and then I'm going to position the bunny ears carefully onto it so that I don't have the skewer coming all the way through. So it's not quite positioned right. I don't want the skewer coming to the front. Just working through the wool or chenille to the base. Right, so I've worked out where these need to go here, which is fine. Now I need to actually get the skewer in to the base and then put the bunny on that and then push the bunny onto the skewers in the ears. So in there. And hopefully you can see I want to hold the skewer so it doesn't go all the way into the foam, and then push it in, get it secure, and now I can again hold the skewer, just push my bunny ears onto that, and I'm pushing the skewer in as far as it can. It's light, so that's fine like that. Make sure it's centered. And then I thought to finish it off, as I said, I didn't want to, I wanted this to be multi-use. I have these foam balls I got last year for Easter that I thought I would use again. Again, I've got these little wires, so I'm going to work with them and cut them down into smaller pieces. And then I'm going to actually put the wire in first, I think is probably the best way. And then attach my little Easter eggs. And then I'm going to work my way around and add a whole lot of them over the wreath. So again, have some sort of wire, or I mean, you could use bamboo, but that's pretty big for the size balls. You could also use any foam. Easter egg will work, perfectly well. I happen to have the small size. If you had a bigger size, that would also work. And just trying to keep this foam from going too far. In fact, that one. You don't want your wire coming through. Remember when you're putting anything like these Easter eggs on to also go around to the side and into the middle rather than just sticking to the center of your wreath. It will make the whole thing look so much nicer when it's hanging on your door. Just a little tip on actually putting these in. So I've probably made these about 3 centimeters, which is just over an inch in size. And I'm finding the easiest way is to actually put the wire into the frame first, and then I'm working more on the longer length of the egg, and then attaching, and then just sort of pushing it further in, and that way it's secure and it just seems to attach a lot easier that way, rather than trying to put the wire onto the foam ball first, or egg. Foam egg. And when you're putting your eggs, something like these around, just try and position them so that you're mixing your colours as you go. There's nothing more to it than that. I'm not putting a lot on, I just want a touch of colour on this. And there you have it. So as I mentioned, this is all temporary on here, so you can take everything off. It does mean that these are just being held in with the bamboo sticks, so keep an eye on it. They may loosen if you've got it on a door that you're using all the time. I've ended up putting a second bamboo stick underneath each of the ears. I did come through on one of them to the front, which was fine. I was just careful with it. That's the advantage of using the spiky end of the bamboo skewer when you're going through your bunny, because it means you don't push a whole lot of foam out, so you can't see that at all. And then I've also put the eggs on with the wire, so that's also temporary. This is a great project to do if you wanted to do with kids as well. If you're doing children, you might decide to glue the eggs on, or you might do that wiring yourself, put the bunny on. Just to remind you, this was just a loopy, I think they use it for making blankets, like a hand finger, use the loops to make some sort of blanket, but that's what it is. So chenille, and a really great product. Later today I'm doing a live, so that's why I'm starting with this one to have a go at it. I'm actually going to use the pastel sort of gelati tone, I'd call this, version of the that chenille. So I will also share a photo of this at the end of the video for you, so you can see how that one looks as an alternative, so you can see the two looks. If you're looking for the bunnies, they're on the website mychristmas.com.au for Easter 2024. But the rest of this, I'm sure you can get craft supplies around the world. Nicole from mychristmas.com.au. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. See you.
Lick the moons, catch them stars in the night. Every superpower that is yours will be mine.